The spiritual journey begins with a profound shift in awareness. You start questioning your identity, your purpose, and your place in the cosmos. This path of discovery is exhilarating, but also fraught with challenges. As your perception expands, you may encounter a subtle yet persistent opposition. This is not a figment of your imagination. It is a real energetic force that has been recognized by mystics and shamans across cultures for millennia. Understanding this force is crucial for anyone serious about spiritual growth. Imagine setting out on a long hike. The initial steps are filled with wonder, but soon you encounter obstacles, fallen trees, steep inclines, or unexpected storms. Similarly, on the spiritual path, after the initial euphoria of awakening, you may feel a strange resistance, like an invisible hand pushing you back. This force can manifest as sudden doubts, unexplained fatigue, or a loss of motivation. It is the guardian of the threshold, testing your commitment. Throughout history, from Tibetan Buddhists to Amazonian shamans, this opposition has been acknowledged as a necessary part of the journey, a rite of passage that separates the curious from the truly dedicated. Recognizing it is the first step to overcoming it. Every spiritual seeker eventually hits a wall, an inexplicable resistance that hinders progress. In ancient times, this was attributed to demons or devils. But modern understanding, informed by shamanic traditions and contactee accounts, reveals a more specific source: a group of non-human entities that have been manipulating human consciousness for eons. These beings are masters of energetic influence, operating from astral dimensions and rarely intervening physically. Their goal is to keep humanity spiritually asleep, preventing us from realizing our full potential. Think of it like a computer virus. It doesn't destroy the hardware but corrupts the software, causing glitches and crashes. Similarly, these entities inject thoughts of fear, confusion, and distraction into our minds, derailing our spiritual progress. They thrive on our low-vibrational emotions, anger, jealousy, despair, and actively work to keep us in that state. Contactees often describe a buzzing sensation or a feeling of being watched during meditation. This is not paranoia. It is the subtle signature of a predator that feeds on human energy. By naming it, we begin to strip it of its power. In his book, The Active Side of Infinity, Carlos Castaneda describes this force as a predatory energetic influence that feeds on human awareness. He writes, "We are held prisoner by something that is not of our own making." Through his shamanic training with Don Juan, Castaneda learned to perceive this predator as a dark, swirling mass that attaches itself to our energy field. It siphons off our consciousness, leaving us feeling drained, distracted, and disconnected from our spiritual core. Recognizing this is the first step to liberation. Castaneda's account is not just a metaphor, it is a detailed phenomenological description of an interdimensional parasite. Don Juan taught him that this predator has been with humanity for so long that we have come to accept its influence as normal. It creates a false self, a collection of habits and beliefs that keep us trapped in repetitive cycles. For example, when you try to meditate, a flood of mundane worries arises. When you attempt to astral project, you feel a heavy weight pressing you down. These are the predator's attempts to maintain control. By becoming aware of its tactics, you can begin to disidentify from its programming and reclaim your authentic self. This concept is not unique to Castaneda. Ancient Egyptian texts speak of the devourer that consumes souls. In Hinduism, the asuras represent forces of darkness that oppose spiritual evolution. Gnostic traditions describe the archons as cosmic parasites that trap human souls in materiality. Even in modern times, experiencers of alien abduction report similar interference, a sense of being monitored, manipulated, or drained. These parallels suggest a universal phenomenon, an external force that actively opposes human awakening. Consider the Egyptian Book of the Dead, where the soul must navigate a treacherous underworld filled with entities that test its worthiness. In Hindu mythology, the Devas, gods, and asuras, demons, are locked in an eternal struggle, with the asuras representing the forces of ignorance and inertia. The Gnostics, early Christian mystics, taught that the archons were created by a false god to imprison human souls in the physical world. Today, thousands of people who have undergone alien abduction experiences describe similar themes: a loss of time, missing memories, and a feeling of being drained of energy. These cross-cultural accounts point to a single, pervasive phenomenon that transcends time and geography. The predator does not attack physically, but through subtle energetic means. It can implant thoughts of doubt, fear, and confusion, making you question your spiritual experiences. It may create synchronicities that lead you astray or amplify negative emotions. Shamans describe it as a foreign installation in the energy body that feeds on attention and emotional energy. By understanding its modus operandi, you can recognize its influence and begin to reclaim your sovereignty. Awareness is the key to dismantling its hold. For instance, you might be on the verge of a breakthrough in meditation, and suddenly a thought pops up. This is just your imagination. Or you might feel a sudden surge of anger or sadness that seems disproportionate to the situation. These are not random, they are targeted attacks designed to disrupt your focus. The predator also uses synchronicity, meaningful coincidences, to lead you down false paths. It might create a series of events that make you feel special or chosen, only to later reveal that they were distractions. By learning to observe your thoughts and emotions without attachment, you can identify which ones are your own and which are being implanted. This discernment is the foundation of spiritual protection. To shield yourself from this predator, practice daily grounding and energy clearing. Visualize a protective bubble of light around you. Set clear intentions before meditation or astral projection work. Develop a strong sense of inner authority. The predator thrives on doubt and fear. Regularly cleanse your environment with sage or sound. Seek community with like-minded seekers who can offer support. Remember, the predator is powerless against a conscious, united human will. Your awareness is your greatest weapon. For example, start your day by grounding. Stand barefoot on the earth, imagine roots growing from your feet into the ground, and visualize any negative energy being drained away. Then, surround yourself with a sphere of white or golden light, setting the intention that only love and truth may enter. When meditating, declare aloud, "I am sovereign. I allow only my own highest guidance." If you feel a foreign presence, command it to leave with authority. Use tools like Palo Santo or singing bowls to clear the energy of your space. Finally, join a group of fellow seekers. Their collective energy creates a buffer against interference. Consistency is key. Make these practices a daily ritual. Once you become aware of this predatory force, there is no turning back. You must choose to reclaim your spiritual autonomy. This involves consistent practice, self-discipline, and a commitment to truth. The predator will test you, but each challenge strengthens your resolve. As Castaneda said, the only thing that can defeat the predator is a warrior's spirit. Embrace your role as a spiritual warrior. The journey is not easy, but the reward is liberation from the invisible chains that have held humanity captive for millennia. Think of it as a martial art. You train daily, not to fight an external enemy, but to master your own energy. Each time you resist the predator's influence by staying focused during meditation, by choosing love over fear, by persisting despite doubt, you become stronger. The predator loses its grip as you build your internal light. This is not a battle of aggression, but of awareness. You are not fighting the predator, you are simply refusing to be its food. Over time, you will notice a growing sense of peace, clarity, and connection to your true self. That is the mark of a warrior who has reclaimed their sovereignty.